Absolutely love you. I wish you were here every week. Alec Baldwin, this is a big weekend for you.
Yeah.
First off, how's the family? How's everybody?
Everybody's great. We're back, in the swing, home from the summer. We're neighbors out there. We're out there. And my kids are always very sad when they have to come back. And when you say to them, oh, the summer's over and we have to go back into the city now and go to school and go to work, they look at me like, can we get another dad? Or, we move in with another family?
No.
Yeah, they don't want to come back into the city.
So they're a little bummed out to get back to school?
They're bummed, but we're here and everybody's happy.
What a beautiful family, though. Gosh, I got to tell you.
And my wife and I are back going to work. I just want to tell you this. And my wife... we'll get to this later, but my wife, she's doing a podcast with Daphne Oz, and their podcast was #1 on Apple in kids and family.
Hey! Props to Hilaria!
Kids and family.
Props to Hilaria.
It's called Mom Brain. And her and Daphne Oz, they talk about what else? Moms, kids, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you speak Spanish? Because I know Hilaria is from Spain.
I speak enough. I speak the right amount of Spanish. I mean, I know certain.
What's the right amount?
When you have 4 kids, 5 and under, you just have the critical phrases like down, abajo, or be careful, con cuidado. So I have all that down.
That's really good.
Do you speak any Spanish?
No. Biblioteca. A little bit.
Because your wife's from like Bakersfield, right? She's not from Spain.
Yeah,
where's she from?
My wife?
Where's she from?
She's from San Francisco.
From California.
Marin, yeah.
She's Marin.
Yeah, Marin County. Yeah, she's cool.
From Marin. Yeah. I married a woman from Marin.
Whatever, yeah.
So my wife has a podcast, Mom Brain, her and Daphne Oz, and she comes into town, and we've been busy. We've been working.
Well, dude, you're working because this weekend is giant for you. You're coming back to Saturday Night Live, which I'm psyched about. You're reprising your Donald Trump impression, which I'm psyched to see you back.
But what I want to say is I go back. You know this. I mean, this business is always, or as much about the content or whatever, as it is about who you work with. And I love him.
Yep, Steve Higgins is great. Yes.
I love him, and I love Lorne. So to go back there, we have fun.
Of course. I love Lorne, but Lorne loves you back too. You're great on the show. You
come in there, and Higgins will be like, here, we got the sketch for you. And I'm like, I have sex with a gorilla. You know what I mean? And he's like, it's gonna be great.
It'll be trust me, it'll work.
It's gonna be good.
I love him. I mean, come on.
I have sex with a gorilla. What's the big deal?
But I mean, how many times you've hosted the show so many times that I feel like
49 times I've hosted. No, I don't know. 15, 16 times, something like that.
But then now, I mean, it's countless, it's hundreds of times now you've been at the show, cameos and
doing
walk-on.
the Trump thing the last few years. But the show, you're referring to the talk show, which I couldn't believe they called it the Alec Baldwin Show. I'm like, oh, how imaginative. But this network TV. This is network TV. But we do the show, and you and I have something in common. My first guest on the show was your first guest on your show.
Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro was my first guest.
No.
De Niro's the first guest on Sunday.
Wow. It's a good get, but I will say, he's one of my, I love him so much, he doesn't like to talk. And that's a problem.
It was an interesting way to launch a talk show.
Jump into the fire right there. Yeah, hey.
Alec.
Hello. I don't know.
Yeah.
A little bit. No.
But you know who's more like? You know who's more like De Niro? I mean, you and I can do De Niro in this kind of shticky way. You know who in his soul is more De Niro than you and I could ever be? Him.
No, Questlove does the worst De Niro impression.
Show us your just.
What are you doing? I don't know what he's doing with your. You couldn't even just do De Niro.
He calls me on the
breathing.
phone. He calls me on the phone. He goes, Alec, they told me they want me to do your talk show. It said they wanted me to sit down and interview with you for an hour.
An hour.
And he goes, Alec, I gotta ask you a question. What are we gonna talk about for an hour? What are we gonna talk about?
It's so him. That is perfectly him. You do the best.
No, we're gonna talk about your movie career.
Yeah. So what is the show? So it's you. What is the set? Do you have a band? Do you have a sidekick?
Well, we had a band and we had a bunch of ideas, but we boiled it down to like the old Tomorrow Show. Tom Snyder, me with someone. We interview everybody for an hour, and then we cut it into segments where there's either one person for the hour or other people. We do a double, which is 2 people. So we do De Niro with Taraji P. Henson is our other guest on Sunday. And then the weekend after that, we have Kim Kardashian for the hour.
Wow.
And we asked her all about getting robbed and all this kind of crazy changes in her life, which was actually kind of interesting to listen to.
That's fantastic.
And weird, yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
on and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.